I recently shared some stories on my Instagram showing the process of me purging things from my wardrobe. Why am I getting rid of almost everything I own? Clothes, shoes, jewelry, makeup, and more.
Times are changing. Times are changing. And I don't know what I'm going to put on my shelves because there's going to be so many empty holes, but I don't care because I'd like to edit down my bag collection considerably.
I've gotten rid of almost half of my entire wardrobe. Can you believe it? Half?
So why are luxury fashion YouTubers and influencers now suddenly selling everything? Is this simply a passing trend, or is this the new wave and the new normal? Is this intentional shopping? Is this intentional living? And exactly why is this happening now? And why are some people finding this so triggering?
Why?
These are the things that I want to talk about today, and it's going to be obviously really hard to do so without throwing myself in the ring too, because I have had my fair share of experience, and I also chose to document my experience with this. So let's get started. Let's talk about it. Three of probably the biggest influencers that have spoken about this recently have been literally Smillan. I remember I watched a video quite a while ago now where she was talking about her book release, and she briefly mentioned her new headspace.
I feel like this is like such an important thing because I know I talk about like the nice things, the sprinkles on the cupcakes, and there's those, everybody likes nice things, and a lot of the time they're just kind of markers for where you are in your life, but it's not those that cultivate happiness. And I know I always say this, and there'll be people in the comments that will say it's all right for you to say because you can do it. But if you listen to the people when they're saying it, for those people, I know most of you already know this, but if you listen to someone when they're saying this to you, it will save you wasting time striving for something that isn't going to answer all your problems. You're like way ahead if someone's told you that, because you're way ahead of all the people that are still chasing those things. They're still chasing the bags, the Birkins, whatever. I always think to myself, I'm like, oh, it's really nice that I've got Birkins, but I'd just carry a basket like Jane Birkin. And so if you really like listen to people and take that on board, that I am telling you that the Birkins and the bags, they're like excitement. They're not happiness, they're excitement. They give you little things of excitement, but it's the things that you don't expect to make you happy that are the things that make you the happiest. And that's basically what my lesson has been.
Two other more larger influencers who have spoken about this have been Anna Bay and Nikki Sky.
I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years buying clothes, shoes, bags, jewelry, makeup, and other things that I thought would make me feel better about myself or look better in some way. But here's the harsh truth. The more I had, the more I felt disconnected with myself and the person that I wanted to become. I had to do a lot of healing from my past micro and macro traumas and being honest with myself about who I am authentically to come to realize that all of these things I've accumulated over the years and spent a ridiculous amount of money on was all a distraction from dealing with how I was really feeling on the inside, unworthy. I mean, isn't that why most of us buy all of this stuff we really don't need? To fill a void in the hopes of something will make us feel better, more respected, more admired. Let me tell you one thing I do know for sure. No amount of things will ever make you feel better, more respected, or admired. All they do is take up precious physical and mental space. And once I had this shift in perspective and became more aware of my inner being and what truly makes me happy, my family, my friends, my loved ones, I felt like this was the catalyst to my self-discovery journey of healing and growth.
I thought that in my leveling up process, I had certain material goals, and I really thought that once I would reach those material goals, I would become more happy. It would feel a certain way to sit in that walk-in wardrobe and look at your massive Hermes handbag collection or shoe collection or whatever. But guess what I felt? I felt nothing. Why on earth was I working so hard to get to this place only to feel nothing?
I do think with more people that have been coming out lately about selling all their things, moving on their things, and stepping away from shopping to the degree that maybe they once did, it has potentially inspired other people to go ahead and either document their stories, document their experiences, or just make some changes in their life. Maybe even confront some things, some habits that they held that maybe they thought that they needed to let go of, or that they realized weren't serving them in the best way possible. So I first want to take you back to 2019, where I actually think for a lot of people, including myself, this is where it started. It started, and we all know what happened in 2019. I will be referring to it as the panini because I still don't know if that word is considered a naughty word on this platform. This particular video I shared in 2020, and I'm gonna have an insert and a clip from it now.
I feel like I'm in search of this feeling. I know what it's gonna feel like fully when I feel it, even though I've never really felt it. Like I felt it in like drips and drabs here and there, but this feeling, I guess you could say it's like a void. And again, I don't mean this like, don't feel sorry for me. This isn't like a wow moment, because I'm genuinely like, I have a beautiful life and I'm very grateful for my life, and I'm very, for the most part, quite content. But I know deep down that there is this feeling that is missing. Like that's like this feeling of, I guess, like a general purpose and fulfillment. You know, I don't really feel that to the full extent. I want to make a more positive impact on the world, and I just feel like that's where maybe that feeling's going to come from, of like that purpose and fulfillment, and I haven't really felt it to the full degree.
And I honestly think that the panini is really what started this. And I know to some of you, because even to me, I was like, how though? How? Like that was literally 5 years ago. It seems like madness. But when I actually considered the side effects and the things that still to this day have been an effect and a trickle-on effect of what happened 5 years ago, I don't doubt that this is probably a side effect of that. And it may be a little bit of a delayed response, but I think it's kind of what set this in motion for a lot of people. I really think the panini sounds so stupid saying that, and I'm hungry now. But I do think the panini caused a real societal reset. It really paused and reset a lot of people and a lot of society. I can't say I can't say everybody, because I know that there are still people who are going about and still hold a lot of the same beliefs, a lot of the same opinions, and would still consider themselves the same people as they were in 2018 as they are now. I'm not one of them, and I'm not saying that whether or not you have changed or you haven't, it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's just simply a thing. But I do think it really caused a huge societal reset. I think it really changed a lot for people and how people view the world. Like I just know for myself personally, I am not the same person that I was in 2019. Certainly not. And a lot of those changes, weirdly, have occurred in the last year and a half. And I can't really say, because I'll never know. I'll never know, like in an alternate universe, if we didn't all go through that thing together, would I still be where I am now? I don't know. I don't know if it's age, maturity, or if it simply has something to do with the panini. But a lot of my views have changed on the world, on the medical system, on political views, government, like just how I view the world, what's important to me, my priorities, have really done in a lot of cases, a 180. I have changed my opinion and my thoughts and what I believe on a lot of topics. I think as well for a lot of people, it was a delayed response, because during that time, for a lot of people were just trying to get by, and some people were just trying to survive, doing the best they could with what they had, with the stresses, the pressure, financial, health. It was really scary for a lot of people. And weirdly, I know for my experience, it was like a self-soothing thing where I was actually shopping more during 2019 and 2020. It was honestly a self-soothing thing, because where was I going? Nowhere. For my little 20-minute walk and one trip to the grocery store. Like I wasn't going anywhere. But it was a self-soothing coping mechanism. And I think that's what a lot of people felt. A lot of people were shopping more than they were before to self-soothe, but also potentially because they had nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. You know, maybe the money they had saved for the vacation that they'd booked that had been cancelled, you know, well, screw it. I think I even used this rationale, and I think a lot of people had this rationale of, oh my God, like life's too short. We don't know what's going to happen in a year or two. Let's just buy the damn bag or buy, you know, insert item here. That's, I think, what a lot of people experience. People are awakening to a lot of different realizations about their lives, their habits. I also think that the word awakening is making some people feel offended, because I think they're kind of assuming, well, you know, this person is saying they've had an awakening. I haven't had an awakening. I think it really shows just how human we all are. And as much as, I say this every time, as much as we like to say, oh, like we shouldn't compare ourselves, we compare ourselves, whether or not we like to or not, because the fact that some people are choosing to continue shopping, the fact that some people are choosing to step away from shopping and sharing their experiences about that, both sides of the coin, both on both ends of the spectrum, there is comparison. People sharing the fact they've had awakening, or that they're not shopping as much, or that, you know, like me, I came out and shared my whole friggin' experience with an addiction. It leaves other people thinking, oh, well, you know, do I have a problem? Is there something wrong with me? Like, I spend that much money, is there something wrong with me? Or do I need to slow down? Or, you know, this person's going in that direction. Am I wrong for not wanting to go in that direction? Or should I be going in that direction? I think it really makes people question who they are, which I don't actually think's a bad thing. Like, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and please be respectful if you can. And I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, obviously, and if you are, shout it. You obviously studied this. I'd like to hear what you think. But sometimes I wonder, and when I think of my own experiences, and when I see other people triggered by it, sometimes, like when I look back on my life and things that I've been triggered by and things that I've thought or said, sometimes I wonder if it's coming from a place of making people question themselves. When you make somebody question something about themselves that is something they're passionate about, or something they love, or something that they feel like is part of their identity, it's threatening. It's a threat to them. It's a threat to their identity. So of course they're going to retaliate, or of course they're going to maybe feel hurt or question things, or maybe be angry or upset or annoyed. That's something that I'm considering is why maybe this is triggering for a lot of people. I do think that people are kind of awakening to a lot of things that they're coming to realize about life, about themselves, about who they want to be and what they want to partake in. You know, I think, like I said, the way the world works, what they thought to be true, what is actually true. And maybe some of those realizations have trickled over into their own lives and who they want to be as people, and what makes them happy and what doesn't make them happy. I think a lot of what you're seeing being played out online, and I know I definitely partook in this because I treat my YouTube channel as a diary. I share a lot of things that I'm going through, that I experience. And I think you're seeing that now playing out, maybe just on a larger scale. I think a lot of people are talking about this. A lot of people are sharing their experiences with overconsumption, overspending, because I think maybe a lot of people took a moment to reevaluate their lives, maybe reevaluate the cost of living, the price increases, the way the world works, what they want to be, who they are, what makes them feel whole. And I think that you're seeing a lot of people maybe wanting to take a step back from overconsumption, overspending, whether or not they realized A, maybe they were overspending and overshopping more than what they feel was healthy, or B, maybe they were genuinely questioning, is this a valuable use of my time to the degree that I am partaking in this activity? I think the content that's coming out now, not only from my channel, I mean, I feel like I shared a lot of my journey to more of a healthier place with shopping, but for a lot of other people, you're seeing people come forward and sharing their experience, sharing the beginning of their journey. And I think it's leaving a lot of people feeling really triggered, feeling a bit angry, feeling a bit over it. They're overseeing it. First, I want to go into more detail about the reasons as to why people are potentially moving in this direction and just simply wanting to change their shopping habits. The first one I'm going to mention is because it's probably the most recent thing that I've seen, and that's kids. Nikki Sky in her video did mention that kids really changed her, having children really changed her. And please share with me in the comments down below if this is something you experienced. Maybe you didn't necessarily experience it with your shopping habits, your overconsumption, or your consumption in general. But do you feel like having children changed you? Let me know in the comments down below. I can't personally speak to that. I have a fur baby, but that's about it. But I suppose it is that giant life event. It is that life-altering experience that stays with you. You know, that type of thing that truly does alter your life and alter it permanently. I can see how that would change somebody in a variety of different ways. Number 2, which, you know, the elephant in the room, the really big, giant, noisy elephant, is the cost of living. I honestly don't know who isn't feeling this. I do think even if you are up there with more of the upper middle class, or even if you are in quite a comfortable financial situation, I do think you'd still potentially be feeling a little bit of a pinch, if you will. I think a lot of people are feeling this. It is, you know, it's the elephant in the room. It's the thing that people aren't talking about. And then weirdly, you know, you read news articles, or you listen to the news, and you've got our government leaders telling us that, oh, the economy's booming, the economy's better than it's been in this many years. And I'm sitting here thinking, is it? Is it? Because I'm paying $10 for cheese, okay? Paying $10 for cheese. Price increases. I do think that price increases have been part of the reason why people stopped and considered what they were partaking in, especially more so recently, you know. And it's not just Chanel, you know, we hear about Chanel's price increases, oh God, almost friggin' monthly at this point, but even just other brands, you know, other brands, even now when I occasionally scroll to look at designer clothes, you know, I'm looking at tank tops that are like $1,500, and I'm like, what's going on? Why? I cannot fathom paying that much for a tank top. I can't. And when you consider the cost of living, the economic situation we're currently in, and the price increase, and just the cost of things altogether, I can truly understand why people are feeling the need to step away from shopping, stepping away, or even just slowing down, and wanting to share that. I can understand why people would be wanting to share that for a period, or, you know, indefinitely. I think honestly all of the points I'm bringing up, I think it's almost like a melting pot of all of these factors that have led a lot of people to where they are now. But I do think overexhaustion and overexposure. Myself personally, shopping at the excess that I was for 10 years left me burnt out, left me overexposed, exhausted, and realizing just how much money I had spent on things that a lot of them I sold off, a lot of them I don't wear, and a lot of them truly don't bring me joy. Like, a lot of them don't. I told you I stepped really far back. I'm gonna share the video where I actually shared I bought a bag, my first bag in, you know, well over a year, and I don't know when I'm gonna buy another bag again. Don't really see anytime soon, but that overexposure, you know, I think for a lot of people who have collected and shopped to the extent that I was, and, you know, potentially Anna Bay or Nikki Sky or Lydia Elise Millen have, and, you know, various other content creators who have come out and spoken about this, I think it's kind of a moment where you do want to put on the brakes and you do want to stop. You want to hop out of the car or the bus for a moment and just take a step back and reevaluate life. Constant new releases, constant collaborations, the overexposure from influencers, and just constant hauls and unboxings. I think for a lot of people, on top of the other points that I've mentioned, and the last one that I'm gonna come on to, I think it's just overexposure. I truly think that has a lot to do with it, which has just led to this exhaustion. People truly being burnt out with shopping, burnt out with spending, feeling like they're just constantly doing the same thing and it doesn't have the same meaning. If you feel like you weren't overspending, if you feel like you don't overspend and you don't overshop and you don't overbuy, that's clearly a reason to still enjoy the things you enjoy and still love shopping. But I think, you know, we're seeing this pushback because a lot of people realize that they overdid it. They realized that they jumped off the deep end like I did. And it was really detrimental to their health. Final point that I think lends itself to all these other things I'm talking about is, you know, simply just getting older. And it's funny, I think we have to be really careful. And look at me, I probably said friggin' 20, 30 things that are gonna piss people off in this video. But even just saying like, oh, well, I grew up or I matured, that actually pisses some people off, because I think, again, it comes back to that comparison of, oh, well, you're clearly talking down to people who still shop because, well, what, they're immature or they're a baby or they haven't grown up. And it's like you have to really monitor your language. Like, I'm aware now, I'm trying really hard, but I'm probably saying something wrong. Probably said about 20 things that have upset people in the last, you know, 20 minutes. But I think For a lot of people growing up, you know, getting older, however you want to label it, changing priorities, you know, wanting to experience more. I think after the panini, where we were all locked up and realized, oh my God, we've just lost, you know, a couple of years and we're still feeling those effects. I do definitely feel like life does definitely not feel like it used to feel, especially economically. But, you know, people want to experience more. People want to have experiences. People want to travel. And those things are very expensive at the moment. Having experiences is expensive. I ranted about this on my Instagram a while ago, but experiencing things is very costly at the moment. People want to invest in new skills. People want to put money towards other investments. I do think a lot of this plays into the fact that people are choosing to step away from shopping so much, whether or not they're choosing to share it on their platforms or not. Going through this experience and reaching a healthier place with shopping and sharing the signs of addiction and the signs of an unhealthy relationship with shopping, I felt empty. I said that in 2020. I felt empty. I felt a void. And that's a really scary thing to admit online. It is. I wanted to figure out how to get out of that and how to feel healthier, how to feel more in control of my spending, and how to actually help other women feel financially responsible, financially independent, and reach a healthier place with their finances, a healthier place with potentially something that they're dealing with, whether it be impulsive shopping tendencies, whether it be an addiction, whether it be what have you. One thing I do want to say is I do think that a lot of these nerves that are being hit, like, you know, the Anna Bay and the Nikki Sky video, you're seeing like the first stage of somebody's journey, if you will. And I do think that, you know, the pendulum, it always swings in really extreme ways. That's just how the world works. So you see somebody going from one extreme to the other. Like, I feel like I went from the extreme of like, I was majorly over shopping, I was majorly overspending, I was just doing the most in the most unhealthy way. And then the pendulum swung all the way to the other end, and I was not shopping, I was not buying, I was working through my shit, and I publicly documented a lot of that. And then I found myself somewhere swang in the middle where I've reached a much healthier place with shopping. You've got to remember, when you see these people coming out, and when I came out with my working through it, I was swinging from one extreme to the other. I started off an extreme, extremely overspending, extremely over shopping, to the point where it was seriously detrimental to a lot of aspects of my health, to the other end where I wasn't shopping and I was very much trying to work through my and help other women work through their as well and get to a healthier place, which is where I like to think I am now. I do think clearing out your wardrobe, moving on things, getting rid of things, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know if this is the same with you, but if my space is cluttered, my mind is cluttered. So I do think that for a lot of people, it's a good way to kind of jumpstart a little bit of a transformation. That's another word that is overused and like mocked. What is it? Transformation, awakening, and journey. I've seen the argument online where people are saying, oh, well, you know, it's just a trend, like these women are just jumping on a bandwagon. I genuinely hope that that's not the case. Like, I try really hard to see the best in people. I try to believe that people are deep down good people. And I know what it feels like to go through this experience. I like to believe that these women are just trying to help people, because I know that that's what I was trying to do when I came forward and was probably embarrassingly honest about the shit I was going through in hopes that it would help somebody else. So I like to believe that Anna Bay, Nikki Sky, Lydia Elise Million, anyone that comes forward talking openly about their life and a vulnerable part of their life, and just kind of like stepping away from maybe something that they were like feeling like was an unhealthy relationship, I like to think that it's coming from a good place, because if they're on this platform, I like to think that maybe they're on it to help people too. Rambled well over, like the sun, oh my God, is the lighting even good anymore? Who knows? I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I'm gonna have another few linked here if you wanna check those out. I can't wait to hear from you in the comments down below. See you in my next one. Bye.